Hello everybody, welcome to another lesson from our responsive web design course based on freeCodeCamp's responsive web design course. If it's your first time joining us, make sure to check out the videos before this if you're brand new to coding. If you're comfortable just picking up right here, that's fine too. We've already done, we've learned HTML, we've learned basic CSS, colors, HTML forms. We learned about the box model by making the Rothko painting. We did the CSS flexbox by building photo gallery. So just if you are brand new to HTML, CSS, JavaScript, web development, make sure to start from the beginning so that you get the most out of this. So today we're doing learn typography, and we're going to be building a nutritional label. Typography is the art of styling your text to be easily readable, and so it suits its purpose. And in this course, we'll use typography to build a nutritional label web page. We'll learn how to style text, adjust line height, and position your text using CSS. So we're going to go ahead and get started by clicking Start Project. Here's a preview of what we're going to build. And we should be able to do this using typography, like different size, font, bold font, the line height like it's saying, all that. So let's go ahead and get started. Step 1, we've provided a basic HTML boilerplate for you. Create an H1 element within your body element and give it the text nutrition facts. So we're in our body and we're creating an H1 with the words nutrition facts. Hopefully spelled that right. We did. Let's continue. Below your H1 element, add a P element. So below the H1, P element with the text 8 servings per container. Let's check it. We pass. Continue. So notice also they're not making us do the boilerplate from the beginning. They gave us that the starting point. All we did was start within our body. And we are in the file called index.html. And again, we learn more of what that means, having different files in the previous lessons. So watch this if you have no idea what's going on. Add a second P element with the text serving size 2/3 cup. So under here, another P element. Let's just copy this. Oh, there we go. And just erase. Yep. Check it. We're good, and we can see it's starting to kind of look like that nutrition label, just missing all the style, border, paddings. Let's continue. Step 4 says within your head element, add a link element with a route attribute set to style sheet and the href attribute set to this font link. This will import the Open Sans font family with the font weight values 400, 700, 800. Also add a link element to link your styles.css. So we're doing two different things here. The first is adding a link element, and we know we do that in our head. Well, it says it here within our head. We can go under the title or above the meta or in between, it doesn't matter, but I'll just do it here. And we're doing link element with a rel attribute set to style sheet. and then the href attribute. So we're going to link to this style, these styles, or this font specifically, with the font weight values of 4, 7, and 8, and we can see that specified here, and it is that open sans. And we're grabbing that from Google's API, Google's font, or the font lives on Google's server, and we're just borrowing it, and we're doing that by linking to it here, which will give us access to it. So I copy this, I go back into my link here, and I paste that in there. And it just bugs me a little not having everything on one line, but can't always have what we want. But we did that link, and now we want to link to our styles.css file, which is over here. It's still empty, but we want to be able to use whatever we add into there, right? So we link rel style sheet href equals, and this lives in the current directory. So in the file that index.html is in, there should be a file called styles.css, and that should be all we need for this one. So your code should have two self-closing. Oh, I didn't close them. Self-closing. Oh, I think I've been not self-closing them in the previous lessons, but it never told me anything. I'm not sure. So it's still yelling, and that's because I didn't close this. Wait. Two self-closing link elements. This is the link, and it's closing there. There's the link. I don't know if they're self-closing. Let me just do what I usually do, which would be something like that, and then close this one, and close it like that. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work, but let's try it. So it did pass. I don't know why it said self-closing. So yeah, we linked to both. We linked to both Google fonts and to our styles.css file. And let's continue. So step 5, let me make sure got the chat open in case anyone wants to ask anything. Okay, so style, step 5, create a body selector and give it a font family set to open sans with a fallback sans-serif. Remember that font with spaces in the name must be wrapped in quotes for CSS. So body, we're now in the styles.css file. So we're going to first select the body. Now we can add CSS to the body element. We're going to give it a font family of open sans. We see that change. It says with a fallback of sans-serif, which I don't know how to do a fallback. Maybe just like comma. And I'll do sans-serif. Let's run it. And we did pass. And I hope that's how you do that. But again, something you could just look up is, how to add a fallback font. We could do it real quick so you see what I'm saying. How to add a fallback font in CSS. Selector. Probably don't need all that ending, but just so you know, sometimes you gotta just Google stuff. I usually go W3. They're cool. Let me see the word fall. So it's real helpful just to be Googling things and kind of see. That is what we did here, adding the comma. Okay, so you just separate them, I'm guessing, with commas. and if one doesn't work, the other one will work. I mean, it's not really explained too much, but I don't want to like get distracted too much into it. Let's go to the next one. Step 6. The font is a bit small. Create an HTML selector and set the font to have a size of 16 pixels. So they want us to select the whole HTML, which we do again by just doing HTML and curly braces with font size 16 pixels. Okay, run it. We pass. Step 7, wrap your H1 and P elements in a div element. Give the div a class attribute set to label. So H1 and P element. So everything we're going to surround in this, well, not everything, not the body, but the rest we have in our div. And so that we know this is inside the div, let's tab it. And now we know, okay, all this is inside this div, and we're giving the div a class of label. Run this, and we pass. Step 8, borders can be used to group and prioritize content. Create a label selector and give it a border set to 2 pixel solid black. So now we're going to do dot label border 2 pixels solid black, and we see it because it is selecting that label, the class label, and we know that we gave our index a class of label, so we see it apply to everything around that div, or we see the border put around that div. So let's run it. We pass. Step 9, good use of white space can bring focus to the important elements of your page and help guide your user's eyes through your text. Give your label selector with property set to 720 pixels. Okay, and we should see that now. Run it. Whoa, 720. What did I do wrong? Oh, 270, my bad. Let's do that. Alright, 270. Passed it. Continue. Step 10. Give your dot label selector a margin property set to 20 pixels, auto, and a padding property set to 0.7 pixels. Okay, we're in the label. We're doing margin 20 pixels, auto, padding 0.7 pixels. Continue. We pass. 11 says if you inspect your dot label element with your browser's developer tools, you may notice that it's actually 288 pixels wide instead of 270. That's because by default the browser includes the border padding when determining an element size. To solve this, reset the box model by creating a star selector and giving it a box sizing property of bordered box. So let's do that here, and we select the star. Box sizing, border box, and we see that the changes being made there. Continue. Pass. 12. Remember that the use of H1 and H2 and similar tags determine the semantic structure of your HTML. However, you can just adjust the CSS of these elements to control the visual flow and hierarchy. Create an H1 rule and set the font weight to 800. So H1 font weight 800. This will make your H1 text bolder. We do see it. You could set it to like 100 and it's gonna not look like that, but we want 8. Let's check it. Pass. 13, give your H1 selector text align property to center. That should align everything center. So we're in the H1. We're doing text align center. Run it. Pass. Continue. 14, fine tune the placement of your H1 by giving it a top and bottom margin of -4 pixels and a left and right margin of 0. So we're in the H1. We're going to do margin. And we know top and bottom is the first argument, so we'll do -4 pixels. That'll do top and bottom. And then the second argument would be left and right, which we're doing 0. And then we could check it. We pass it. Continue. Step 15, we create a P selector and remove all margins. So margin 0, maybe? Okay. P selector. Oh, I was right. I just needed to separate with the colon. We pass 16. Lines can now separate and group important content, especially when space is limited. Create a div element below your H1. So where's our H1? Here's the H1. Below it, I'm creating a div element. Open and close, and then I give it the class divider. Okay, check it, pass. Now, step 17, create a selector for your new divider and set the border bottom property 1 pixel solid in that color there. So let's do dot divider. We selected it. Now we're doing border bottom, and we're doing 1 pixel solid, and we're giving it that. What is it? 8888. Wait, what? I'll just copy it. That's too many 8s. There we go. And we don't pass it because, oh, margin, forgot. Ahead of myself. 2 pixels, 0. Cool. And if you aren't seeing the changes, sometimes just like move this here, or it might be that we're on a step that, well, that doesn't have a visible change. Like adding a div sometimes doesn't actually do anything until the next lesson, because then we do something with the div. But right now, step 18, the letter spacing property can be used to adjust the space between each character of text in an element. Give your H1 selector a letter spacing property set to 0.15 pixels. So we're in the H1. Letter spacing, again, it's going to be suggest space between each character. So letter spacing, we're setting to 0.15 pixels. Alright, very small change, but it was there. We passed it. Continue. 19. Nutrition labels have a lot of bold text to draw attention to important information rather than targeting each element that needs to be bold. It's more efficient to use a class to apply the bold styling to every element. Give your second P element a class attribute set to bold. So second P element here, class bold. Check it. We pass. 20. Your new class doesn't have any styling yet. Create a bold selector. So it doesn't matter where. We could do it up here, and we could do dot bold, and we're going to give it a font weight 800. Go ahead and remove the font weight from your H1 selector as well. So font weight, remove it from the H1, and let me check it. We pass. 21. Give your H1 element a class attribute set to bold. So here's H1. We're going to give it that same class so it has access to bold. This will make it bold again. It did. Submit. Continue. Horizontal spacing between equally important elements can increase the readability of your text. Wrap the text 2/3 cup in a span element and give it a class attribute set to right. So here's that 2/3 thing. Wrap the text. So it doesn't say wrap the P, it says wrap the text. So span, and the ending of the text is here, so end the span, and we're giving it a class of right, so span gets class equals right. Now we could, again, doesn't matter because we already passed it, but I want to make sure it looks good. Does. Continue. Oh, it didn't. Your span element should have the text serving. Oh, let me cut that span, and it should be around the words 2/3 cup. So right here. Now we're good. I don't want to reset it. Yep, that's what they wanted. So yeah, just make sure to put it around the 2/3 cup. 23. The float property is used to place an element on the left or right of its container, allowing other content such as text to wrap around it. Create a new .right selector with float property set to right. Run that. We pass. We haven't used it yet, but let's continue. Wrap everything within the label element in the new header element. So everything within the label, this is the label, and it goes all the way down here, so 10 to 15 in a new header element. Okay, so there's going to be the header, and there's going to be the closing of the header, and we're going to indent this because it's inside of the header. Check it. Well, your header element should be within your label element. Okay, so I did it backwards. Let me see. Your header element should be within your label element. So everything within the label, maybe they want this to all be the header. So this is all within the label, and we're calling that header. Yeah, that should be good. Yep, that's good. Continue. Now update your H1 selector to be header H1. So header H1. So this should grab any H1 within the header to specifically target your H1 element within the header. Okay, we pass. 26, create a new div element below your header element and give it a class attribute set to divider alg. So a new div below your header. So this is below the header, and I'm going to do a div and give it a class. Class will be divider alg. Okay, let's continue. We did pass that one. Step 27 says create a new alg selector and give it a height property set to 10 pixels. So we're in our styles, we're doing a new alg selector. So there we're selecting the class .alg or alg and give it a height of 10 pixels. Also create an alg-md selector and set the background color property to black. Alright, let's see what that means. Create an alg-md selector. So under the alg, we're creating a .alg, .md selector. I don't know if we've created these yet. Yeah, we have the divider alg. So this has two different classes. One is divider and the other is alg. Over here, we're giving the class alg the height of 10, and I'm pretty sure we're going to create that MD one in a bit, but let's continue. And this is black. Okay, let's check it. You should have a new alg-md selector. .lg. Oh, forgot the comma. Because we're selecting two different classes. And again, I don't know if we've done the MD yet. You may notice there's still a small border at the bottom of your alg element. To reset this, give your alg-md selector a border property set to 0. Border 0. Okay. Let's run it. We pass. 29. Create a new div below your alg element and give it a class attribute set to CalorieInfo. So right now we're under the div, and we're going to create a new div with a class CalorieInfo. Okay, so again, we don't see nothing because we haven't done nothing with them yet with either of these two, but let's continue. When your CalorieInfo element creates a P element, give that P element a class attribute set to bold SM text and the text amount per serving. So let me, within the CalorieInfo element, we're creating a P, opening, closing, with the class bold SM text, and the text is going to have amount per serving. We'll run that. We passed. 31. The rem unit stands for root M and is relative to the font size of the HTML element. Create a SM text selector and set .sm text font size 0.85 rem and HTML. Oh yeah, that's it. So check it. We do pass. Continue. But here, I just want to make sure I'm not going crazy. The MD class. I don't remember putting MD nowhere. I feel like they're gonna make us use it in a bit. Unless I'm blind, which also makes sense. Below your SM text element, create a new H1 element with the text calories 230. So below SM text, that's below here, below this paragraph, create a new H1 with calories 230. Close the H1. Wrap the 230 of the text in a span element with the class set to right. So 230 span with the class right, and we see that there. Go next. We pass. 33. Create a new .CaloriesInfo H1 selector setting the top and bottom margin to -5 pixels. So .CaloriesInfo H1 margin -5 pixel, -2 pixel. Check it. Pass. 34. Create .CaloriesInfo span selector and set the font size to 1.2 em. So .CaloriesInfo span font size 1.2 em. Check it. Pass it. 35. The larger font size of the number 230 is causing an overflow. Give the CalorieInfo H1 an overflow property set to hidden to avoid this. So overflow hidden, and we do see that. Fix that. Continue. 36. Typography is often more art than science. You may have to tweak things like alignment until it looks correct. Give your CaloriesInfo span selector a margin top set to negative pixels. This will shift your 230 text into place. So margin top -7 pixels, and that's better. Check it. Pass it. 37. Below your .CaloriesInfo element, add a div with the class attribute set to divider MD. So we're under there, and we're under the calories info. Right, where's that? CaloriesInfo is here. So below CalorieInfo, because that ends there, line 21, we're going to do in line 22, div class divider MD run it, pass. 38, create a .md selector. So finally, using that thing that was kind of driving me crazy. So the .md selector gets a height of 5 pixels. Cool. Run it, pass. Step 39, create a new div element box, your MD element. Create a new div element below your MD element. So we're under that MD element, and we're going to do a new div, opening, closing, class attribute, set to daily value, and SM text. Within the new div, so in here, P element with the text percent daily value asterisk. Set the class right bold. Check it, pass it. 40. The float styling is causing the new P element to be outside of the label's border. Use your existing dot divider element as an example to add a new divider after the P element. So use divider. The float styling outside the border. Use your existing dot divider element as an example. Where's the current divider? It's here. Not sure what they're saying. Should create a new div with your dot daily value. This is daily value. They want me to do another one? Within, you should create a new div within your daily value element. So that's not within the element. It would be, this is within daily value. Small text element. And I need to create a new div. It doesn't say whether it should be on top of the paragraph or below it. So let me just try here. And let's see. I should have a class set to divider. And we did pass. Let me read it one more time. The float styling is causing, oh, there's another one. No, this is it. Use your existing divider element as an example to add a new divider after the P element. Oh, it does tell us right after there. Let's continue. Step 41, give the dot divider selector a clear property. So we're in the divider selector and we're doing a clear property set to right. This will clear the float property, pushing the divider and any of the following content below the float text. Cool. 42. After your last divider element, create a P element and give it the text total fat, all this right here. So let's copy that. So after the last divider, here's the last divider. Create a P element. So we're doing another P element in here. Give it the text that we pasted. Wrap the total fat in a span. Class set to bold. Wrap 10% in another span with the class set bold right. So close our span, and we try that. And we pass. 43 says, below your element with the total fat text, create a new P element. So we're under that total fat text. So under there, I'm creating a new P element. I cannot see if it's aligned. It doesn't look aligned. Doesn't matter, it'll align it for us, but we have our paragraph. Saturated, fat 1G, 5%. Okay, wrap the 5% in the span, bold right. Okay, I think that was that. Wait, P element should have a span. Your new P element should have a span. Spelled that wrong. Try it again. We pass. Okay, so 44. This new P element will need to be indented. Give it a class set to indent. This new P element needs a class indent. And we haven't created that yet in our styles, but let's continue because that's what it's asking us. 45 says, create a new indent selector and give it the margin left property set to 1em. So we'll do our indent selector. And we're going to do margin left 1em. And we saw that happen. We pass. 46. Create a daily value P selector. Daily value P selector. To target all your P elements in the daily value section, give this new selector a border bottom, 1 pixel solid, hash, copy, paste. Run it. We do pass that. Let's continue. 47. The bottom borders under your daily value star and saturated fat elements do not extend the full width of the label. Add no divider to the class for these two elements. So there's daily value. So we're adding another class here, which is no divider. The bottom borders. Wait. Send the full width of the label. Add no divider to the class for these two elements. Maybe they're asking for the dividers? Well, there's only one divider, so maybe it is for the class. It'll tell me right now. Let me just try on the bottom borders under. Oh, okay, so it is the bottom borders. Under, so this divider I guess needs a no divider class. And then under saturated fat is where here. I'm gonna just check it real quick and see what it says. Yeah, usually if it's not making clear sense, I'll just, the point is knowing like how to do what they want you to do, and just knowing what's happening with like the properties you're using, the elements. So right now it's saying your P element with the text. So I was right probably. Here's the P element with that text. Needs to have no divider class. And I didn't spell that right over here. Okay. Let's check it. Now it's going to be the other P element with saturated fat, which is here, and we also want that one to say no divider. Let's check it, and we do pass now. So now we're probably going to create this no divider selector and do something with it. The not pseudo selector can be used to select all elements that do not match the given CSS rule. So div that doesn't match this CSS rule, color red. The above selects all div elements without an ID of example. Modify your, okay, yeah. So any divs that don't have the ID, which is this hashtag of example. Modify your daily value P selector to exclude the no divider elements. So what would it be? Something like not class no divider. We did see a change. Not sure if this is what they wanted, but yep, that is it. So here it's gonna select all daily value P elements without a class of no divider. Okay, continue. Step 49. Now you will have to add separate dividers below your no divider elements. Okay, so your first no divider element has a divider after it. Create another divider after your second no divider element. Your first no divider element will... Where's the first no divider? Oh, this is the first no divider element. Has a divider after it. Here's the divider. Create another divider after your second no divider. So second no divider, and we're just gonna copy this. Should work, and I'm gonna paste it there. See, just so you can see this nicely. I think that's what they're asking. Yep. Oh yeah, we see the divider. Let's continue. 50. After your last divider, create another P element with the text trans fat 0 grams. So copy this. Okay, so after that second divider, create another P element with the text that we copied. Italicize the words trans by wrapping it in an I. So here we wrap it in an I. Give the new P element the class attribute set to indent no divider. So the new P, we're giving it a class indent no divider. So that both those classes will apply. Check it. We pass it. 51. Create another divider after your last P element. So here's the divider. I'm going to just copy it and paste it. And then check it. We pass. 52. After your last divider, create a new P element. So here's the last divider. Create a P element. Close it. It's going to have this text. Let's just copy this real quick so I don't misspell anything. And then we just paste it. Wrap the text cholesterol in a span element. So here we're doing span. And it should have a class set to bold. So let's class bold. And then the span, oh wait. Give the span element class attribute set to bold. Wrap the text 0% in another span. So there's 0%. Span with a class set to bold, right? And then we want to close that span. Check it. We pass. 53. Below your last P element, create another P element with the text sodium 167%. Copy that. So below the last P, which is down here, we're going to create another P element with the text that we copied. And let's close the P. Okay, wrap the sodium in a span. So we're with the class set to bold. So span, class set to bold. Close it. And then close span. And then the 7% with bold right class. So here another span with the class bold and right. So both those classes will be applied from our CSS. And let's close the span. Let's check it. We pass. 54, add another P element with the text. Let's copy this. Copy. For visual sake. Let's zoom. Move that over and then. Okay. We're doing another P. Like before, use span elements to. Oh, wait. Add another P with what we copied. Close the P. We're doing a span around total carbs. Class. Bold is the other ones. Total carbohydrate, and then close span, and then 13% is gonna get span class equals right bold, and then close span, and then check it. We pass. 55. Below your last P element, add another P element with the text. Let's copy the text. Give the P element the class necessary to indent it and remove the dividing border. So I'm guessing we're doing the same thing. Let's give it the text. Close the P and pretty sure we gotta do the same thing. So let's just try span class bold, and that goes around dietary fiber. And then it closes span here. So we indent it, removing the dividing border. I don't know what that means. Let's check it. You should create a new P and div element at the end of your daily value SM text. So what does that mean? Daily value SM text. Where's the bottom of daily value? Yeah, sometimes these aren't the clearest. You should create let me look at the instructions. Below your last P element, that was the last one, add another P element. Give the P element the class necessary to indent it and remove the dividing border. Oh, then create that divider below it. So I know what they want. There's that divider, so we need to give the class indent no divider P element should have the class attribute set to indent no divider. Oh, it's the P, my bad, not the span. I'm not sure why I did that. Okay, check it. Now we pass. Okay, so I just wasn't reading that right, but yeah, we wanted to give it the P element the class necessary to indent it, which is the indent, and remove the dividing border, which is a no divider, and we added the divider down here. So create another P element after your last divider and give it the text total sugars 12 grams. Assign the P element the class values necessary to indent it and remove the bottom border. Then create another divider below your new P element. Okay, so we're creating another P after our divider and give it the text total sugars. Copy that. So here, P element with the text total sugars. Assign that P element the class values necessary to indent it. So kind of doing the same thing. We're doing the class indent no divider and adding one of these. Check it. We pass. Continue. 57. The advantage to creating these dividers is that you can apply specific classes to style them individually. Add a DBL indent to the class for your last divider. Copy that. Go into the class, space, paste it, check it, pass it. 58. Create a .dbl indent. So selecting the DBL indent class we just created, and we're giving it left margin 2M. Let's check it. Whoa, not working. Margin left property set to 2M. Oh, it's margin left. Check it. Pass it. Continue. 59. Below your DBL indent element, add a new P element with the text includes 10 grams added sugar. Your new P element should be double indented and have no bottom border. Use a span to make 20% bold and right aligned. I have no idea how to do that. Let's just do P with that. Close P. Alright, one at a time. Your new should also be double indented. What? Is that? Do I give it to indent class twice? You should create a new P and div element at the end of your. There's the. Oh, I gotta give it that divider. Now what? Your new P element should have the class DBL indent. Okay. DBL indent no divider. Check it. I need a span element. Where's the span go? Use a span to make 20% bold and right aligned. Okay, where's that 20%? Span. Let's move this over. So it'd be something like span. Span class equals bold right. I think that's it. And then end the span. Check it. Pass it. 60. After your last divider, create another P element with the text protein 3. Use the necessary class to remove the border bottom and a span to make the protein bold. Okay, protein 3 grams. Necessary class to remove bottom border. No, I'm not sure. Let's check it. You should create a new P and div element. Okay. P and div, so another divider. The new div, divider LG. Okay, I guess that's what they wanted. Submit. 61, create another P element below your large divider. Give the P element the text vitamin D. So copy all this. Create another below your large divider. Give the P element the text. Use a span to make 10% align to the right, but don't make it bold. So let me see it again. Create another P. So under here, I'm going to create another P element. Give it that text. Use a span to make 10% right. So span here, class, right, and then close span, run it, we pass, continue. Create another P element, give it the text calcium, align 20% to the right. Below that, create a P element with iron, and okay, so let's do the same thing twice. We got the 20, I think it's 20%, and that should end the span. We should have a span here with class right. Let's just do this twice. And then the second time, instead of calcium, I think it's iron. The 45 is over here. Alright. Check it. We pass. 63. Create the final P element for your daily value section. Give it the text potassium, this. Align the 6% to the right and remove the bottom border of the P element. So P element, paste that. We're going to do this to the right. And what else did it say? I think the divider. Let me just check it. Your new P element should have a class attribute set to no divider. So class no divider. Check it, and we pass. 64. Add a medium divider after your daily value element. Below the new divider, create a P element with the class attribute set to note. Give the P element the following text. So let's copy that. So add a medium divider after your daily value. So daily value, I'm thinking, is this div. Let's start way. I think this is daily value. Let's see what it says here. You should create a new div after your daily value element. So that would be here. We're creating a new div. Closing our new div. The new div should have a class set to divider MD. It's similar to what we did above. Okay, check it. You should create a p element after your new div element. So you should create a new p element after the new div. So it doesn't say inside it. So p with the text. And then close p. Check it. Your new p element should have the class set to note. So let's p element class equals note. Check it. We pass it. 65. Create a .note selector. Set the size font to 0.6 rem. So font size, and then margins 5 pixels for top and bottom and 0 for left and right. Check it. We do pass. 66. Give the .note selector a left and right padding. So padding. So we'll remove the top and bottom with 0. And then 8 pixels. Are trying to do it backwards there, but it should be like that. And then text indent property -8 pixels. And that should be it. Let's check it. And now the nutrition label is complete. So we've finished this. We finished learn typography by building a nutrition label. If I submit, we'll probably go to the next one. Yep, that's the quiz. So in this lesson, we've looked at how to really use typography to further learn how to organize our HTML. Like we saw that we could wrap text that's in a paragraph in a span. We could give it a class so that we can move it to the right. We could organize our code so that we can do things to different elements that we name differently. So we started, with the HTML, selecting HTML, making all font size on the HTML 16 pixels. But we do add different font sizes. And we're able to do that because, where is it? Like right here, font size. So, and that's because we gave that element a specific class. So even though all font size on the HTML page is 16 pixels, we are able to continue categorizing our elements by giving them classes and then changing those font size that have those classes while everything else stays the same. And just going over these things is really important. Practicing these things is important just so you have an idea of what is available to you. Like, I don't memorize a lot of these things. I just I know what is possible, and I know kind of what they're asking us to do, and then I can either Google something and try to find the answer to it. And if I really want to get into it, like why is this like, what's something here that's not very clear to me? Maybe this clear property. Like, I don't use the clear property that often, but I'm sure if I'm getting some sort of error or my page isn't looking how I want it to look, then that's where I would start experimenting with, okay, well, what other options or what other people have ran into these problems and what are their suggestions? Oh, they're saying to use a clear property. Well, what is the clear property? Let me look more into that. It might be something that I can use, like asking those type of questions. It's really important. But that pretty much sums it up for this lesson from our responsive web design course. Just make sure to practice that, go over them a couple times. I'm probably going to go back and do this really slow so that I can further embed those things that I don't know, like this clear property. I really want to go back and know what that is. The overflow, I've seen it so much and I still can't tell you right now at the second what it is. But again, you don't need to memorize everything. Just kind of know, okay, this is not working. I want to make my page look like this. Let's start Googling. Boom, boom, boom. And then as you find the answers, you embed them into your person. And the more you do this, the more that these questions will come up, the more frequent ones you'll for sure like memorize them. But then there are those things that you'll just use it to fix that issue, and then like you probably won't see it again for years. Just keep that in mind. Don't get discouraged if any of this is confusing. It really just takes constant just repetition and continuing to code regularly. And with that, I'll be signing off. Thanks for joining. Make sure to subscribe so that you get notified whenever I'm live or making any new videos. Thank you, and see you next time.